Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So dear Dharma friends, when it comes to Buddha's teaching, there is something inherent, inbuilt in this world as nature. So that is what we call Dharma. So realization means understanding the truth means you get closer to this inherent truth, this inbuilt nature. And time to time it disappears from humanity, and time to time people cannot recognize it. So then what happening? Time to time Buddha come and enlightened masters come and introduce it to the world. So the Buddha's teaching doesn't mean it is its own creation. It's nothing to do with the creation. It is the whatever in the world, whatever in the nature, they see it is it better than us. And then they bring it with the great compassion to us and then explain it how these things happen. So when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, within this 2500 years, it's more than now 500, it's 565, 66. So within this journey, and what happened, the one of the major, the barrier, hindrance for the Dhamma is the culture. So when it go to other countries, what happened, mainly the culture or the tradition used to overtake the Dhamma. But when it comes to still, the Buddha's teaching, also there are three parts. By the time things change, and by the time according to the people's behavior, things change. So it happened to the Dhamma also. Then there are two challenges. One is Dhamma itself, the change because of the people. Why? Because we use the words and we use that our own mindset to explain this or the understand this, and by the time it change. And the great challenge for the Dhamma is the culture, tradition exists in the land. So somehow when you come to the point of understanding the Dharma, so there are few things in basically you have to be very clear, because otherwise you go and you get disturbed out of these unnecessary things. So it's nothing wrong, you just let things to be there, and you cannot change it, you no need to change it. Maybe that is the way it should be, so let it be. But it is yourself, you have to be very clear in your mind what you want. So with that, we have to see the very purpose of the Buddha, why he taught this Dhamma. So overall, when we look at from the outside, in the surface level of the Dhamma, there are three parts. So one is the Buddhist culture, another one is as a subject, the people study Buddhism. So Buddhist culture and the Buddhism, the sum, this as a religion that the university schools, universities, that mostly they teach the Buddhism. And the important thing that you have to understand, especially like America in these countries, most people teach Buddhism and they cannot bring it as a religion. You have to study, you have to teach it as a subject. So you can just give only the certain informations, that's it. So we cannot teach, even when we go to schools, we cannot teach it as a religion. We have to teach it as a subject. And especially sometimes when we go to schools, before we go to classroom, maybe the principal or the advisor come to us and tell, don't tell anything about our personal lifestyle as a monks or as a temple, as a Buddhism, and what kind of things that our personal view. We cannot tell like that when we go to public schools. The only thing we can give just the information, details. And sometimes there are a lot of teachers, they don't know anything about the deeply regarding the Buddhism, but as a subject they know the details. So then there are some people know the Buddhism by details. Another thing is that there is a deeper part of in Buddhism, it calls self-realization. Now as a foundation, the culture and the as a subject, the study part, and the other thing is the self-realization part. So this everything need to be there as it is. So, but our purpose is getting to this self-realization part. So in early Buddhism, in the first 20 years of the Buddha, and that was the main purpose. So still today, and there are certain schools, they teach only just regarding the self-realizations. There are teachers, there are monks, and there are temples, there are schools, meditation centers, and there are retreat centers. They always focus only to the self-realization. So when it comes to self-realization, it is not about you having the mission to understand the universe. It is not kind of like that. It is completely different. It is regarding understanding you. So that that background is very important for you, because you have to know what you want. And by recognizing that the self, through the self-realization, what will happen? So through the self-realization, you get into the wisdom of the true nature of who you are. Once you're able to have the true nature or the wisdom regarding yourself, and it will give the wisdom to understand all the human beings in this universe, and also the very nature of the human being. And also it will give the wisdom to understand how things come to be as they are. Once you have that knowledge within yourself in this very present moment, that thousand years back, whoever used to live in this world, and you able to understand what happened in their mind. And even after eons, if somebody come as a human being, and you will understand what will happen in their mind. Even as deities or the other the planes, whoever live in different other existence, and you have understanding what happening to them also. When you have overall, when you have this complete understanding by experiencing within your own life, and that itself will help you to decide what to do. So it is a kind of like a very deeply analytical and the conscious based journey. So when it come to self-realization, there are few things you have to understand. So now we came with the culture and the study as a subject, and the self-realization part. So then we not focusing to the culture or the subject, because if you are go for an exam, or if you need a certificate to go for something, it is okay. If you like to do that, it is okay. And so if you look for self-realization, in that part there are four things. It is very important when it comes to self-realization. That is what important for us. So the very first thing is the view, the self view regarding the 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 practice that you're going to do, the view that you have of regarding the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha as example. It like this. That if you think about the Buddha as a God or creator or any kind of like a circus man or the magician, then your view going to become different. Because if you think that the Buddha is kind of like a circus person, then maybe you have idea to become a circus man. So like that, the Buddha is the the enlightened one, the awakened one. So then if you look for awakened mind, then you have to walk in this path. So like that, the very important thing is the the view, what you want. So it is personal, person to person. We cannot tell, oh, you should do this, you cannot do. No. Even the Buddha himself never forced anybody to like that. That's why early in the morning, when he wake up, the very first thing he did, that he start to look the world and so that how I can help the people. And then he didn't go to all the people and start to preach. No, he looked who need the help. And then Buddha went to that person. If the person didn't need the help, look not that if the person don't look for the help, even the neighbor, Buddha didn't go and talk to them. So that's why having the right view and set up your mind to the right point is very important when it comes to practice. Even in meditation, the same. So because it is something that we have to understand that deeply we go with the intention. So because that when you have the clear intention, it is you can get the success. So the first one is the view. Another one is the practice. And just having a view doesn't make. So what kind of practice that you do? So as example, meditation. So I tell you in the future that this meditation going to become crazy, and it is very difficult to find the authentic, the clear, the teachings, because nowadays you see, and a lot of people practice meditation and they are inventing new kind of meditation, and now it's coming this the artificial intelligence meditation also, and people kind of like to have kind of like the mind and get into different kind of feelings, or the kind of like they like to get into certain emotions and lock in that emotions. There are people, so there are many that companies, especially it is based with the the market and this, and they're doing a lot of research, and it's going to come very soon, and a lot of people going to be with like that. It's like that, you know, there are a lot of apps now, and it doesn't have real purpose that giving the wisdom or the clarity. They just want to keep the people kind of like locked in a kind of like emotional feelings. That's it. So that's going to happen. So then it is your responsibility. We cannot stop it, you know. So that's the very nature of it. No one can stop it. It's happening itself. It's going to happen. But it is your responsibility how you can do, how you can contribute to the authentic teachings, and how you can contribute to this beautiful that gift, and how you can save it for entire future humanity. Not to go against that other things, not to blaming each other or not to criticizing anything, just to practice yourself the right authentic teachings. Practice yourself, get the benefit out of it. That is the only the best way to preserve the teachings. So without practicing, maybe we write the books or doing things, it doesn't work. So then yourself, if you practice the right way, then you are itself, your practice itself contributing to the Dharma, and itself it contributing to the humanity. The other thing is the attitude. So view, practice, and the attitude, your lifestyle. So then it also, when it come to today, in this pre-world, the people can have different attitude, different lifestyle, different things in day-to-day life. It's like you doing a job, morning you do something. It's like, as example, we do, your character come out of whatever the profession you do. If you are work in the police, we say policeman. And if you work at the post office, the postman. So like that, this man we introduce with his profession. So but just imagine, for a day now you can do like 3 4 places you work, and then you go in, that people cannot introduce by using one thing. So same like in day-to-day life, you practice meditation, you doing good things, and at the same time, afternoon you doing something else, and at the same time in the evening you become somebody else, at night you become completely different person. So people have this kind of different characters inside. So the attitude mean in this path, you have to see that. And in a kind of way, by your attitude, be naked. Don't carry different characters. So be authentic yourself, be naked yourself. It make you free from this lot of things in life. It's otherwise, that's why we are kind of like actors. We kind of like doing a drama, and ourselves, it is a stressful, we create it kind of like a more stressful life. Why? Because we even know ourselves we are not real, then it becomes difficult. So then yourself in this path, if you look for the self-realization or the truth, or if you look for wisdom, remember, suddenly you cannot get out of these things, but little by little have an idea, release little by, when you have the opportunity, you get out of it. They are saying that it is a Mahayana story. There was a butcher, and then this butcher came one day meet the Buddha, and then he asked, Venerable Sir, I am a butcher, I have no choice. So how I can practice these rituals? How I can practice any vows, or how I can practice any sila, precepts? So Buddha said, you are a butcher, but you don't kill 24/7. Maybe for a day you kill only one animal. Maybe because you have no options to do when other. Maybe you bound to do that. So like soldiers, they go to war. And when the enemy is in front of them, they cannot just practice loving kindness meditation in the middle of the war in front line. It's not going to work. So, but the same thing, so what the Buddha said to this butcher, but you don't kill all the time. So maybe there's a time you are free. In that free time, when you are not killing animal, when you are resting at night, when you're sleeping, and follow the precepts, and follow the vows, and practice the Dharma. If you have to do something in that very moment, it is a very deep, the psychological analogy, but the same thing like your attitude. So then you have to remember your character when you build up, suddenly maybe you cannot change in the path of this Dhamma, but just little by little, when you have the free time, when you have opportunity, take that opportunity right away. Don't invest that opportunity to still the empower or accelerate that your old nature. So that way, as example, if you are a soldier, when you are in duty, you do it. So otherwise, if you have to practice, if you have time to practice meditation, you practice meditation. So like that, you have to understand, you have to be flexible. You don't need to even take the dharma or becoming a self-centered person with the dharma or with the practice. You have to release that also. Why? Because things happen according to necessary conditions. So even the entire this Mahabharata also, the ancient that book, and that also related with that kind of the philosophy. But anyhow, the important thing that you have to understand in your life, when you have the right view regarding to become better person or go towards the wisdom, it is very important your view, and at the same time your practice, and at the same time your attitude. In every day when the opportunity come, you go for that. And other thing is the aim. Finally, overall, what you want. The end of this all, what you want. So that is a very important deep question, because sometimes in the basically mostly we have the self-centered desire. I want to become, I want to attain. So like that, I-based, self-based desire. So then in the spiritual path, in the wisdom path, even though in the beginning we have the conventionally that the self-centered desire to attain to Nibbana, in the path of this journey, that the very important thing, little by little, get out of the self, release the self, and the having the right aim, always you focusing to the Nibbana or the enlightenment or the wisdom, knowingly the very nature of it. In the beginning you have to know it conventionally. We have the word, only the words, so we have to use the word to understand. So using that word, yourself understand what is the very nature of it, and then that understanding will help you to recognize, do you really want it? Or, and sometimes other thing is there are some other tools we can use to become very clear with the aim. So what are that tools? And as example, suffering. So the unsatisfactory nature or the dukkha, and and then you see the old age, getting sick, dying. So these kind of things. And if you recognize, oh, I don't want to experience these things anymore, this is enough for me, that will give a kind of aim where you should go. So that way also conventionally you can understand the nature of the enlightenment, but it's still, remember, it is a conventional enlightenment that what you understand. But little by little when you practice, so you go with the. So when it comes to view, in the Buddha's teaching, there are three pillars you have to clearly understand. What are those three pillars? There you cannot have a view out of these three. Then it is this completely journey going to be somewhere else. So the one pillar is all component things are impermanent. All conditions things or all component things are impermanent. So that is one thing you have to be very clear with that. Another thing is all emotions are end up with pain, unsatisfactory nature. All emotional things are going to end with pain. So just know it. So that is how you can become very clear with the view. And other thing is that everything has no inherent existing nature. That means no self-centered or the the unchangeable, the nature inherent in anything. That everything or always depending from something, there is nothing can exist itself. That those are the 3 points that you have to be very clearly understand. Once you become very clear with these 3 things, your view going to become sharp. With that sharp view, when you able to come to the point of in day-to-day life, the intention, the moment of intention, not the, oh, I want to become this, and no, no. The moment, the right moment, in this very moment, the moment of intention going to become changed. So in the Eightfold Path, that as you know, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappa. The second one is called right intention. That is where you're going to end up with right intention. Once you come with the right view, you're going to end up with the right intention. So let's get clear with this right intention. In day-to-day life, we have ideas. So that ideas mostly, right intention means that you have to see how you utilize these ideas. The way you utilize, the way you use these ideas, intention. That mostly, that when it comes to that, the intention governed by the desire is one thing. There are 3 intentions. One is the intention always governed by the desire. And another one is the governed by ill will. And another intention is governed by harmfulness. So those are the 3 intentions that mainly we have: desire, ill will, and harmfulness. So then you have to look in day-to-day life. When you have a thought, what is the root from where it comes? If you don't see it, maybe it will take you to any desire, any harmfulness, or any ill will. So now you see that what you want in day-to-day life. So then you develop your attitude in day-to-day life to have an intention of renunciation. Renunciation means that leaving things. It in Pali called nekkhamma, the leaving things for the higher purpose. So that's why the Prince Siddhartha, he had the palace, he was the prince, and he had the queen. So he had the son, a very luxurious life. And we say he renounced it. He let that go for a bigger reason. So it is very important in day-to-day life as ordinary people that in conventional life, why the renunciation is benefit for you. Because when you have the clear intention to renounce, let go things, really get out of things. And sometimes that is the best thing that you do to other person also. That is the best thing that you do to other things. And as examples, that renunciation, it is the highest when it comes to generosity. So the generosity is the very basic level of renunciation. But when it comes to renunciation means that is the highest you can practice. So in day-to-day life, when you practice, don't just be generous. It is good for like children. Have the mindset to renunciation. That is the vipassana level of the giving, renunciation. You give it with the higher purpose. To yourself, you release it from you, that you get out of it, and at the same time the whatever the subject, the object or the person also itself become free from you. So the both parties get the freedom. It is not one thing. So as example, it like this. You watch TV and in day-to-day life, and you know that there is a lifetime for the TV also. Uh, as example, let's think 500 hours. So after 500 hours, the circuit going to become go out. So then if you watch TV, you watch news, you watch whatever the mega serial drama or movies or whatever, and you go to sleep. But still the TV running and you don't watch. So then once you watch, if you don't turn off the TV and then you go to sleep and then the sound comes, then you can't sleep. The light, you can't sleep. And you get disturbed out of the TV. Not only that, and you kind of like destroying the TV also. Why? Because it can run only 500 hours. And 24/7 this keep running. Then as soon as what will happen after 500 hours, it go, die. See, renunciation means you turn off the TV and at the same time you get out of it, and at the same time you allow TV to become free from you. So another example for children. So as parents, and when parent when the child go put it to sleep, and you take the child to your hands and you go and put on the bed, and then when you try to leave the child, as parents sometimes you feel to sleep with the child, but sometimes you think if you can do it but you don't want to do it, maybe it is not for you, it is good for the child if you allow that child to sleep itself. So then thinking about the child, then you leaving the child. And when you take the children to school, it is good for you, you allow your child to stay in the classroom and you leave. So that is a deeper kind of, you have an intention, even though in that moment you do it, you know that doing that, the child going to become better. So the renunciation is the kind of like that. Deeply intention you have, whatever in your bodily, verbally, mentally action that you do in day-to-day life, and the things that you hold it to, you release. And when you release, sometimes it can be anything. Why struggle? Why fighting? If somebody, maybe somebody else also asking the same thing from you. And then sometimes people fighting for the same thing. So when you cannot practice the renunciation, letting go, the your desire, whoever the desire is strong, that person going to become wild, and then it become a fight. So that's why if somebody asks something, if somebody try to buy something, if somebody try to get something, don't involving in that things. So then let it be, let it take. Let it take. There are many. When you look at the the enlightened masters stories, it's like that. When the thieves come and before they take it and they give it, take it. And there are situations whoever try to ask and they okay, even that, as you know, the before that the our Buddha become this Gautam Buddha in the sansaric journey, when he practiced and he give up everything. If somebody asks, give. So there are stories. If somebody asks the head, they give the head also. So like the, maybe you cannot go to that level, but at least in day-to-day life, learn to release from your heart. Maybe from in the beginning you cannot release from your hand, but learn to release from your heart. Hold it in your hand, and then little by little, little by little, what will happen? It's going to go from your hand. Then you become free, it also going to become free. So otherwise, just holding something, when I hold this, it my hand also involving it, and this piece of wood also not going to be free from me. So the renunciation means when I release, my hand become free, and it is open to entire universe, and this piece of wood also become available to entire universe. So the renunciation is that much deeper. And so, but if we hold to something, my hand become only limited to this piece of wood, and this piece of wood also become very limited to this my two fingers. So that is why free, let things to be free. That is the best art of giving. So try it mentally. That is the renunciation. When you do that, what is happening? The desire become lower, the it become weaker. So if the desire become stronger, the holding, clinging going to become stronger. So that's why when it comes to right intention, always have the renunciate, let go things, make them free, let things free. Even in the beginning, have an intention in your heart. One day, let everybody to be free, whatever they want. Let everything to be wherever it should be. So like that, have an intention. So the second one, the goodwill. So the when it comes to that, that we have the always the desire ill will and doing something bad and doing that kind of unnecessary things, making painful things and disturbing others, that will always lead us to pain ourselves. It leads us to trouble. So then always with your bodily, verbally and mentally action, if you are able to find a way to do good things, and it will help to the, reduce the strength of ill will. And uh, and uh, other thing is the harmfulness. And when you have the intention to live with the harmless life, and that will reduce the harmful intention. So that's why we every day practice loving kindness, and that is one of the important thing in day-to-day life. So always remember with this path, when you come to right intention, it always the way you think, what you think, your attitude, your passion is always remember to lead to the right intention related with the renunciation, releasing, goodwill, and without having any ill will, any kind of bad things regarding to do bad regarding anybody or anything, and the harmlessness, and without doing any harmful things. So that way, in day-to-day life, whatever the life you have, going to become peaceful. So always remember, especially utilize your mind for profitable things in day-to-day life. And sometimes whatever you keep doing and whatever you keep thinking may be unnecessary. So it can take you to unnecessary trouble. So then look yourself, we have this that the blissful life, we have this blissful moment, and you have this body, you have this mind, and it is very rare that you gain this opportunity. So then always utilize it for a higher purpose and clear your view and get out of all unnecessary things and do it yourself. That is the best way that you can contribute to the teachings. That is the best way that you contribute to the Dharma. That is the best way that contribute to yourself. And that is the best way that you can contribute to the entire humanity. Why? That is the best way you preserve these teachings within yourself and give it to the next. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhiti gayuko bhava ittavata cha me sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයාවං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුච්චතු. Bless you.
Thank you, Venerable.